Tired of playing against London system players every game and facing the same moves every time? Well, I got the perfect counter opening for you to spice things up with multiple traps just after a few moves. If you want to learn how to destroy the London system, please stay tuned and watch this video. Okay, so let's get started right away into how we can counter the London system. So after our opponent plays d4, we're gonna play knight f6, and after they play bishop f4, setting up the classic London system, trying to build this pyramid and putting the light square bishop in the middle, we're gonna immediately refute this response by going c5, and this is an immediate attack from the center that has to be addressed by white. This cannot go unaddressed. So yeah, the reason why I like this move so much is because this puts white out their comfort zone, it surprises them, and it also undermines the pyramid, the classical London system pyramid. And white may not know how to deal with this, right? Because London system players are so used to just playing the exact same moves every game, they're not gonna know how to deal with an unconventional move, which is why we're going c5. And we're gonna be looking at a lot of options here, but the first option we're gonna be looking at is if they push pawn e3. And this is actually the most solid opening, but there's also a lot of traps that you can still get, white can still get themselves caught up into. So yeah, so let's just, so after this move, we're gonna exchange here and we're gonna play d6. And the idea of d6 is to control this really important square, so the pony cannot hop here, and also to prevent this bishop from having any activity, and basically just making this bishop useless, right? So after d6, white's probably gonna play something like here or the usual London moves, and we're gonna treat this like a King's Indian opening where we fian kettle the bishop on the king side and castle king side. So after some moves, our opponent goes with a classical London setup, and after we hop in our knight to c6, they're gonna castle, and this is where our first trap lies. We're gonna push our pawn to e5. Can you guys see the trap here? Because the trap here is that if they take here, as you can see from the jump and evaluation bar, we actually set up a sneaky queen discovery attack on this hanging bishop. And there's no way for the opponent to stop this. Because if they take here, we just simply take a bishop and we're up a bishop. We're up 2 points of material. And if they take here thinking they can defend this bishop, remember that we still have knight here that we can trade on. So yeah, we're simply just up in material. And what I like about this position so far is that this is so easy to play for black, right? And this is really suffocating for white. Like, you can't move, like, the horse is pinned to the queen, and like the bishop is out in the open, and we have so much space to work with, right? White is just suffocated here, which is why I like this position for black really, black so much. Let's say that your opponent doesn't take after we challenge the center by going e5, and they play something like here, which is a really logical move, and there's nothing wrong with this. But like I said in the beginning, our main plan is to undermine white's pyramid structure and undermine white's center. So we're still gonna go with our plan anyways, and we're gonna take here. We're gonna exchange, and after they play something like here, maybe we're just gonna exchange horses, and we're gonna go here, attacking these two weak pawns. And playing off of white's weakness. And if they were to maybe take like here, we're gonna kick out this bishop, and after they draw back, we're gonna play it here, just solidifying the center now. And hopefully this should be a really easy position for you to play from. But before we dive into the next variation, I'm just gonna show you guys this real quick so you guys can memorize this or even learn the concept quicker. So I'm just gonna go through what you're supposed to do, and I'm gonna go through it really quickly without explaining anything, just so you guys can, I guess, understand this opening and memorize this opening better. So yeah, so we go here. So they go d4, we go f6, they go here, and we go here, and then once they go here, we're supposed to take, and now we're supposed to go d6, and we're supposed to hop in our knight in, and after that, they're just gonna do their classical London setup, right? Bring their knight out, bring their bishop here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna treat this like a King's Indian. We're gonna fian kettle the bishop and look to castle on the king side. And once they castle, here's the critical part, right? We push e5, and this is the critical part of the game. and this is basically going to decide if your opponent is going to hang on or if your opponent's going to lose. Because if they take back, and now we have a discovery attack on the bishop, and say they take here, 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 we're just up a clean piece, and hopefully you can win from here on out. And say if they don't, say if they play something like maybe here, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to here trade, and if they go here, we just trade off, and if they take with the pawn, we kick the bishop out, and after they go back, we push here. And now we just have a really simple position to play with, and you could even push the bishop further. Okay, before we move on to the next main variation, I'm going to be showing you a slight variation, which is after our opponent plays e3, and we do the same old. And this is the key move. Our opponent, instead of going here, goes here. And why this is a key move is because once they go here and after we go here, we can't go here anymore, because after we go here, we would actually be losing a pawn because there's no discovery attack on this bishop. So that's a really key move, but this is actually not that big of a deal, because we're still going to go with our original plan, which is to push for e5, breaking open the center. And how we're going to do this is we're going to prepare e8. And the idea here is that this rook is going to be an extra defender of this pawn once we push it. So then, let's say the opponent plays something like here, which is a pretty logical move, right? Trying to bring a safe square for this bishop, because they want this bishop, they want to keep this bishop, right? So say for example they play something like this. Now we can break open the center by going here, because that was our plan regardless. And say for example after they take, they're going to retreat their bishop back to this square, and now we're going to start pushing this pawn, right? And now look at how suffocating this position is for white, and how, like, when you ask someone like what type of opening this is, they're not going to say the London, because this does not look like the London at all. So we're basically putting the opponent out of their comfort zone, and they can't move anywhere, right? If they go here, their knight's getting trapped if you push here. If they go here, we can their knight's also getting trapped if they push by going here. And they can't go here, right? Because then after we take, we'll just be up a free pawn. And they also can't go here because of this rook and the knight. So their only best square really is to go here. And just look how suffocating this position is, right? The horse is back to the beginning square. All these pieces are clumped together, and we have so much space advantage to work with. And the main ideas after we play this is we're going to be bringing our bishop out. And after we bring our bishop out, say for example they play something like here, now we're going to be bringing our queen out, attacking here and attacking this pawn. And then say for example they start protecting, now we can bring the second rook in, and maybe we could even bring this bishop to h6, just looking to completely demolish our opponents on the other side. So yeah. Okay, so before we look into the more common moves that your opponent is most likely to play, such as c3, they might even push this pawn to d5, and they will probably, some opponents will probably even take this. But yeah, we're going to be looking at this really uncommon move, which is knight f3, and almost no London system players will play this, at least from my experience, because first of all, it breaks their London system principle, which is to build this pawn pyramid, and by going here, they can reinforce this pawn, and if it ever gets taken, now they don't have their beautiful pawn pyramid to work with. So that's why it's an unprincipled move for them, but they'll obviously still play it, right? Some people will obviously play it, so we're gonna be looking at this move just in case. And white has so in this position we're supposed to take here, and white has two options here. They got either take with their horse or take with their queen, and we're gonna be looking at the worst move possible for white, which is take with the horse, because we have this really key sacrifice, which is sacrificing this pawn. And the idea here is to basically force the bishop to take, right? If the bishop moves, we just take a knight. So bishop takes, and now we can check with the queen and pick up the bishop after they play something like queen here, and we just pick up a bishop and probably win the game, hopefully win the game. So if the opponent takes with here, we're just going to play here. First of all, threatening to fork their queen, and if they go somewhere like here, we just go here, and we're just up a piece, and they might probably trade here and here, but we're just up a piece at the end of the day. So yeah, and yeah, so wait, okay, so they take with the queen, go here, they go back. Now we develop our knight, and if they develop like here, we go here, they go back, and now we go here, threatening this pawn, because this pawn is really weak. And queen b6 is actually going to be a really key idea that you're going to see throughout the rest of the video. So yeah, just keep this idea in open. Whenever you see this pawn without the dark square bishop being attacked, you're going to attack this. And this is actually a really common move against London system openings, because the London system basically means bringing this dark square bishop out, locking it out, which is why you can attack this piece. And yeah, you're just looking to develop your pieces and castle. So really easy position to play from here on out for black. We have a lot of space advantage to work with, and white is overall really cramped, and white is not going to be used to dealing with this much so less space because they're so used to playing the London system. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at the more common moves from our opponent, which is after c5, our opponent is going to go c3. And this is kind of similar to the last move, the first moves order we studied, which is e3, but it's going to be slightly different. We're going to be playing slightly different moves. So yeah, so after they go c3, we're supposed to take on d4, take back, and now we play queen here, just targeting these two really isolated pawns. And the opponent has multiple ways to respond to this, but a lot of the options that our opponent does will fall into a lot of traps. So we're gonna go here after. So say for example they develop with b3. Now we're gonna go knight c6, looking to target this pawn, and our opponent is gonna. The most common move for our opponent here is to play e3, just going back to the traditional London setup. And now we have this really insane move and really spectacular move, and which is a move you have to memorize, and you have to learn why we're playing this move, right? Which is to go e5. And the idea here is to quickly strike the center and sacrifice a pawn, but with compensation, right? Because we now have this open bishop diagonal looking to check this king. And say for example our opponent takes here, which is the most common move. We're gonna go here now, checking them. And now they're gonna be like, oh no, I'm in trouble, because they can't block the knight like this because we'll just take. They can't block with the queen, obviously. They don't want to move their king. So now their most logical move would be to go here, which is the idea of blocking the check while also keeping all their pieces intact. And now we're going to go for this really critical move, which is hopping our knight to e4. And the idea here is to putting pressure on the pinned pieces. And the most common way to defend this, I guess the only way to defend this, is to go here. And now we hit them with another sacrifice of the pawn, which is to go here. And just take a second to look at this position and look how hectic it is. But you just have to believe me here that we are absolutely winning. You don't even have to believe me. Let's turn on the analysis and see for yourself. We're winning by a lot, and I don't think the evaluation bar does us justice on just how much we're winning, because the bowling could easily go wrong here. Say for example they take here. Now we could actually just go here, and after they trade we take this bishop, but we have a better move, which is to go here. Just take this pawn straight up, and we're sacrificing the horse, but not for long, right? After they go here, now we can finally go here, and they have to move here. And even though the computer doesn't like us trying to fork these two pieces, it's best for you to just fork the king and the queen now, because now that you're up a queen, you'll obviously win this position. Computer likes other moves, but I'm not really gonna dive deep into that, because why not just win a queen, right? Who doesn't love a queen, a free queen? So we're gonna go here, they take, and they take, and after they take back, we have another way to win material, which is to go here. And if they go here, we just go here, and now we're absolutely winning in this position. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at another option that our opponent can do after we go queen b6, which is after they go here, and after we go here, they're going to play queen c2. And the idea here is actually really tricky, because if we take this supposedly free pawn, our opponent's going to take here, they're going to checkmate us, which is something that we don't want, obviously. So we're just gonna play here, and the idea here is that if, say for example, we go here, and if we ever move our knight, now the queen can't take anymore because the rook is protecting the bishop. And even if they did push the pawn up here, we would just simply take. So that's not a doable move. So they're gonna play here. And the reason why this opening is so good, because you can always count on London system players making these same moves, because they're already used to making these moves, and they just want to get back to what they're comfortable with so desperately, which is why they're going to play these moves most commonly, because they want to get back to the London system. So after they go here, we're going to go here and preparing the same idea as the first sideline main lines we learned in this video, which is preparing to go e5, similar to a King's Indian kind of. So our opponent stops this by going here, but just like the first line, we're gonna sacrifice this pawn, and we're gonna play this move regardless. And say for example, they take, and your opponent might think, oh, you miscalculated, you're so dumb. And after they take with, like, it doesn't matter really what they take with. They could take with the bishop, horse. Say for example, they take with the bishop. Now we can go here. And the idea here is to check the king while also attacking. So if they block like this, we'll just simply take their pieces and we'll be up. But the opponent might be like, oh, wait, what? I can just block with the queen. But now we have this killer move, which is bishop b4, winning the game on the spot because you're pinning the queen to the king. And hopefully, once you're up a queen, you'll be easily able to win this position. Okay, so the last sideline we're going to look at after queen b6 is the move d2. And this is sort of similar to this move. We're going to play some of the key moves that you saw when our opponent went c2. But yeah, so they're going to go here. We're going to go here. And after this, they're probably going to go here again, just like how they did when they went c2 for the queen. And now we're going to go here. We're just going to start attacking this queen. And the most common response here is that instead of opponents playing really passive, they're going to play here. And now we strike them with the brilliant move, knight b4. And the idea here is that we're going to sacrifice this horse. But then after the key move d5, you have to remember this move. The queen has no good squares to go into in this diagonal. It's all covered by at least one piece. This is covered by bishop, and this is covered by the pawns. So all the squares that the queen can go to in this diagonal is covered. And as you guys can see, this square is really important because it threatens a check. So the best move, the best move here is probably for their opponent to go here. And now we're going to check them, and after they go here, we go here and we take the rook. And the king is really exposed. We have this threat yet again that our opponent tried to deal with but failed to, and now they have to deal with this all over again. And yeah, this is really easy to play with from here on out. We're up material, and you should win this game. Hopefully you win this game. Okay, so now we're gonna address the last two moves that white is really likely to play, which is the move takes, or which is the move push. And first we're going to be looking at the move take, and this is actually not a free pawn, because after we go knight here, targeting this pawn, there's no way for white to defend it adequately, right? White can't go here because we'll just take. So white most likely is going to let go of this pawn and make some really developing moves. The best move here is to go here, to go c3, and which is obviously a really natural move. White is going to push their pawn out, bring their bishop, push their knight out, and castle. And how we're going to respond to this is we're going to kind of be playing the system we played earlier in the first move, which is after we go here, and they say, for example, they go here, we go here, d6, just controlling this key square. And after they go here, trying to set up for their London, we just play like a King's Indian. Go here, they castle, and we castle, and we're looking to eventually break through with this pawn and even maybe trade off this piece. So the last key move we're going to be looking at is if they push their pawn to d5. And after they push their pawn to d5, we're just going to play b5. And the idea here is to restrict this, control this key square, disallowing this pawn from ever protecting this pawn. And this pawn can't ever protect because our horse would just take. And if they were ever to develop their knight on this really natural square, we would just push back. And now the knight is either forced to go to here, which is a terrible move, or to go here, which is actually the best move, underdeveloping the knight, but also losing a tempo. So instead of doing that, our opponent's going to play this, which is a really common move. And the idea here is to, once again, reinforce this pawn structure, do what the London system is supposed to do, lock this bishop out while also attacking this pawn. And in this move, we're not going to defend. We're going to create our own counterattack, which is to go bishop b7. And once again, there's no convenient way for white to defend. They can go here. We'll just push out. They can't go here again because our knight would just take. So now they're forced to take, thinking it's going to be an equal trade. But after we take with a knight, we're threatening to double up their pawns and dismember the London system setup. And say, for example, they go back. Now this is a terrible mistake because we can go here. And the best move here is to block, but after here, takes and takes, we're just up a piece. So that's how you win against the London system. And here, I'm just trying to show you some of the more common moves. If you don't exactly face these moves, just know that what you're trying to do is you're trying to attack the London system's pawn structure. And after you attack it successfully, you're trying to develop fianchetto your bishop and castle your king. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you guys enjoyed and watched till the end of this video, please give this video a thumbs up. And please subscribe, of course, if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. And I hope to see you guys again in my future videos.